Today, we will be discussing a lesser known topic, which is bridging innovation, research, and intellectual property. Webinars such as this one provide an excellent platform for learning academic interaction and sharing knowledge. They give students and professionals an opportunity to explore important topics beyond the classroom and learn directly from experienced academicians and experts of their field. I would also like to extend a warm welcome to all the students and participants for joining this session on time. Your enthusiasm and participation are what makes these programs a very meaningful and successful. You can ask your questions by writing them in the message box, which will be answered at the end of this session. I would like to extend a very special and cordial welcome to our esteemed speaker, that is Dr. Aditya Dilipkumar Patil. Currently, he is working as an associate professor at Ulhas Patil Homoeopathic Medical College. Apart from doing his personal research, individual research in the field of homeopathy. We are truly honored to have you with us today, sir, and look forward to gaining valuable knowledge and insight from your expertise and experience. I hope today's session will be informative, engaging, and enriching for everyone. I encourage all the participants to listen attentively and actively participate in the discussion and interaction session, which will be at the end of the lecture. Once again, a very welcome to Dr. Aditya Dilip Patil, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Good afternoon to all who are present for this webinar. And the topic itself, as ma'am has introduced, it's about bridging innovation, research, and intellectual property in homeopathy. So, with reference to drug development, we are basically today going to understand the purpose of innovation, which is required in homeopathy, and what is the current state of research, or you can say the current art of research. So before moving forward with the content, what I'm going to share you all in today's webinar, I would like to give the disclosure and the declarations that the whole is under the Consumer Protection Act 2019 has been followed with all the guidelines with CCPA and ASCI also. The use of the AI apps has been judicially been implemented within the PowerPoint content, and but obvious human judgment remains the highest priority as compared within the AI apps. So the content will definitely have a little bit more understanding about a hypothetical case study of the patent, trademark, design, and copyright perspectives in the homeopathic products. With this, I do not own any of the publications. So whatever publication details you're going to see in this PowerPoint presentations are already claimed by the respective authors, and their due credibility is also given within the references. So let us go with this journey of understanding the sphere of homeopathy in the dimensions of drug development, looking forward for the patent, copyright, trademark, and design. Before that, we all need to know about the Drug and Cosmetic Act 1940 and Rules 1945 with reference to investigated medical product if we want to go forward for homeopathy. So the standards compiled by this act has mentioned the drugs included in the homeopathic pharmacopoeia of India, and it is not limited only to the HPI. It also considers the drugs which have been prepared from the HPUS, from the BHP, and from the GHP. Apart from this, drugs which are not mentioned in the pharmacopoeia, but do they have any efficacious as compared with the previous studies, can also be enrolled. However, it would require a new homeopathic medicines protocol. So what is exactly the definition of homeopathic medicine? So homeopathic medicines include a drug which is recorded in homeopathic provings or therapeutic efficacy of which has been established through long clinical experience as recorded in authoritative homeopathic literature of India and abroad, and which is prepared according to the techniques of homeopathic pharmacy and covers combination of ingredients of such homeopathic medicines but does not include a medicine which is administered by parental route. So in India, if you want to name it as a homeopathic medicine, a product, it shouldn't be administered with the parental route. Okay. So, and its efficacy has already been defined either with the long established clinical experiences or within the provings. Now, what do you mean by new homeopathic medicines? So in 30 AA, as per the Act, it explains about a homeopathic medicine which is not specified in the pharmacopoeia perspective with the India, United States, UK, or Germany. And also, even if it is previously been documented within the long experiential provings, but if it is not showing efficacy, then again those medicines can again be restudied or re-challenged, and a new homeopathic medicines can be invented. Part 9 explains about the labeling and packing of the homeopathic medicines, 106A, where the specificity of the vehicle as to the drug ingredient is an important factor in the homeopathic discovery. Okay. And no homeopathic medicines containing a single ingredient shall bear a proprietary name on its label. It should be followed with the scientific names followed within the pharmacopoeia, or you can say within the monographs. Okay. Now, let us understand that what exactly happens in the drug development and what are the current questions of the research which are still re-challenged or retested or verified. So in 2008, Anirban Khudabak sir from West Bengal, okay, University, Zoology Department, have drafted a article explaining about the three basic questions about homeopathy. So this article has already been cited by various researchers in the field of homeopathy. Number one, potentized homeopathic drugs above Avogadro's limit do not contain even a single molecule of original drug substance. This was the first research question, or you can say the hypothesis, which was tested earlier prior to 2008 also, but it was re-tested and re-challenged again in this particular research paper. Second, the more the homeopathic remedy is diluted, the more it gathers strength and length of function. Okay, so this is another question to be tested. Third, the mechanism of action is not understood in present state of knowledge of physics, physiology, or biology. So how do these medicines basically act on the sphere of the PCB mechanisms, you can say? It is still in the investigation, okay? However, there are various hypothetical models and there are theories been tested and tested that how these homeopathic medicines might work. We will look into the further slides. The core area of the IPR works basically on these three components. If you will try to understand, number one, medicinal property transfer to the vehicle and therefore to understand the detailed structure. So what happens when homeopathic medicines is impersonated or impregnated within the structure of water or an ethanol? So that is one of the important questions what we are going to address in the future slides. Second, those that aim to demonstrate the efficacy of homeopathic drugs in biological experiments and in clinical trials. So there are research going on within the biological experiments and in the clinical trial, understanding the efficacy of these homeopathic medicines. However, the solvency issue is another parameter which is again coming into the picture because of the alcohol concentration, or you can say the aqua alcohol solutions from which the homeopathic medicines are prepared. Third, trying to explain the mechanism by which the information message signal carriers by the homeopathic remedies transform into series of biological actions and bringing back the organism into the path of recovery, or you can say homeostasis or in the order state. Now, this is again a 2012 and 2013 controversy which was put forth within the field of homeopathy, followed within the NHRMC data of 2015 by the Australian report. So we are going to understand that perspective also. Now, let us understand how the drug development theory has been imposed from the imperial times and till today, what do we have in our hands? Okay. So, starting with the Hippocrates, the principles of similars was initially being drafted. However, the experiments were conducted by Samuel Hahnemann, sir. Okay. And over the time, the potentization techniques were questioned and the dose actions were questioned. Hormesis was the initial in the 1920s and 30s. The terminology was invented, followed within the anecdotal evidences, and in 1980 onwards, it had the major impact on homeopathy. Another one came with water memory hypothesis, which was contradicted, and still even today media trials it is been used as a quack by various orthodox people. So that is again a plausibility of identifying the molecular activities or actions within the homeopathy. Water clusters, cavitation, silica hypothesis, nanobubbles, gene regulations, biological signalings. These are all the tested hypotheses, hypothetically been observed or drafted within the concept, and is still been proving in cell line, or you can say animal studies, or somewhere in the clinical trial, trying to impose within the law of stimulus. Then you have nanoparticles revolution coming into the picture. 2010 IIT Bombay, major hunk about the metal homeopathic remedies, and their activities designing the structures of those nanoparticles. So understand, nanoparticle is a particular element you can understand within the diameter below 100, or you can say 100 nanometers. Okay, and when you will have less, or you may say the nanometers are getting reduced, the size of the particles get exploited, so you have a higher chance of solubility, which might get difficult in the bulk material. Now we are defining in this 21st, okay, about the nanopharmacology, the biological signaling amplifications, protein corona. Then Harmos is again getting implemented within the metal nanoparticle drugs. Then nanoparticle allostatic sensitive models, as drafted by Irish Bell and the researchers from the Italy, Florence. And adaptive physiology and the advanced spectroscopy is currently being used for differentiating the potencies. So this is the current stage, or you can say the current state of art of homeopathy, what exactly has been happening. This particular data information I'm providing you from the research publications of mapping the theories and models on the mode of action of homeopathy at the scoping review. Now let us understand, after looking so many questions of identifying the IPR theme core and with the research questions, what exactly do India is presenting with the homeopathic data? So we are going through the Indian Patent Advanced Search System. We are learning the patent case study. So you can visit this website, and wherein you can just type the word homeopathy and abstract search, you will get this data. Okay, there are different documents, like you will see here we are having 13 documents. Many of them have done the composition. Okay, the reputed companies, they have done the combinations, they have put forth for the patent. Some of them have got granted, some of them have got refused. Okay, so why it happens with the refusal or the rejections, we are also going to study in the further slides. Then we are having potentization techniques. So we are going to look in the further slides that what all patents in India currently has been made in the homeopathic field, or you may say the inventions. Then we are having the preparations of the nosotes on the highest perception. Okay, so previously the nosotes which were documented, their source material was not conveyed, or you may say not confirmed by the empirical sources. And so today when you will have these nosotes, you will have the detailed data from where the source species were taken and how they were prepared. So in detail, HPI volume 4, page number 126, gives this detailed information about the preparation process of nosotes and its particular billion like cells count for maintaining the count to convey or to confirm it whether it's a nosotes or not. Then there are different formulations. Again, you will look into this perspectives. We are having malarial like nosotes. Then we are having homeopathic based formulations. Then we are having plasmodium and the genus plasmodium preparations, protozoans. There are particular preparations, homeopathy, genus leishmanias and the process of preparations, viral infections, nosode preparations. Okay, so preparation is a part of a patent. Okay, it is a process patent. However, product gets a patent, but efficacy is another perspective. So for patent, it doesn't require always a product to prove its efficacy. A process can also be patented. Getting it? So for that, you will require some of the other few elements of the clinical trial studies, but you need to prove that how this invention is novel as compared with the previous drugs which were already invented. Now let us understand a little bit about the Indian Patent Act 1970 and rules 2003. Okay, so the act explains about different sections about the field of inventions, the background and priority art, summary of inventions, detailed descriptions, examples and drawings, claims, abstract rule 13, non-patentable inventions, section 3, which defines about 3D new form of known substance without enhanced efficacy. 3I, methods of treatment, surgical, therapeutic, diagnostic method. 3E, mere admixture resulting in aggregation of properties. 3F, arrangement or duplication of known devices. 3P, inventions which are traditional knowledge or obvious. 3K, computer program per se. Okay, we are going to look forward within the AI applications currently booming in the market, and the scope of the Indian patent with respect to the 3K, okay, computer program per se. And 3J, plants and animals in whole or essentially biological process. With this, the 21J, inventions, a new product or a process involving inventive steps and capable of industrial applications. This is what exactly the patent defined means. Okay. And essential under section 10, the claims, whatever claim you are trying to comment on this particular invention, it should provide on a larger perspective also, and should be little bit confirmed within the framework of the Patent Act. Okay. Okay, so now we are going to go with one or two examples for which the patent grant was provided. So this is the example of CCRH, the apex body of research in homeopathy, and within the IIT Bombay. So these two autonomous institutes, they worked for a process for potentization. As we all know, the potentization method involves succussions, triturations, and usually in succussions, top-down motion, we go for decimal scale, we go for 10 strokes, centesimal, we go for 10 strokes, and 50 millisimal, we go for 100 strokes. Okay, that depends again on the source material molecule, what you're trying to discover. In this patent invention, what CCRH and IIT Bombay researchers have done is they have increased the count of the number of succussions. Okay, so within the potencies. So this is the innovation. They have basically challenged the previous potentization techniques, which was empirically choosing the 10 strokes and for 50 millisievert scale with the 100 strokes. Okay, in the initial this pre phases of the drug. However, this new potentization machine now currently makes the complete change of all the industrial sectors. So any of the homeopathic manufacturing in near future, if they go with this technique, they have to take the patent accessibility from these two institutes. And why is this invention very important than the previous potential technique? Because this invention basically provides the presence of the nanoparticles, which defines within the number of strokes. So this is somewhere novel. However, this particular technique is still under questionable and still people are working on it. In this diagram, you can understand the silicate changes, you will understand the vehicle transfer, okay, how it happens. Then you will have the electron microscope pictures, you will have the selected area electron diffraction and electron dispersion X-rays. So chemical, or you may say analysis pictures with bright field and dark field compare within the potencies. And they have been working from 2010 with this particular research. So in near future, we can expect that many of the industries might go with drastic techniques. We have the Dr. Ankita Kotia and Ms. Anamika Kotia. Okay, these two physicians who have basically worked on the potentization machine, but they are impacting on the AI monitoring with the optimization modules. So how does it helps in sequencing? That is important. Okay, so Coloralis flow meter, so in and out, and then monitoring whether it is basically showing differences or not within the potencies. Then again, CCRH has worked on a system to detect potency in medicines and a method thereof, physics. Okay, so they have basically on the MEMS devices, how different potencies are a same medicine with different potencies, how they can be differentiated. So they have worked on this particular guidelines also. We have Rajesh Shah sir, who has worked on the nosewort composition, one of the prominent researchers from India, reflecting the preparation process, and it has been granted. So Understand whatever example currently I am giving to you are the public domain information. They are completely with the open access. And this is how they basically worked. Now there is one university, Yenapoya, you will see in homeopathic medical colleges associated within the universities and within the CIODS. So this college worked on the omics data. Okay, so you can get this link from where you will get this data and what exactly it does. So let us understand that tomorrow you are working on any cell line studies or in animal studies, and you have observed that there are some of the biological changes you are getting within this homeopathic potencies. So you can upload your data. The omics data will categorize it into simulations and it will provide you the exact synthesis of which species, which homeopathic medicines, which targeted molecules were used and what were their effects. So literature search, screening research articles, data curation assembly, assessing gene mapping, identifying the homeopathic drug potencies, organism, experimental details, gene protein expressions, layer expressions, followed with the MSQL. Now these are completely non-homeopathic terms. Okay, MSQL, Python, Django, HTML, CSS, JS, cytoscapes, basically used for the integration of the data and to simulate the models. And this is how you get it. So within the homo sapiens, how many drugs were tested and what all protein, or you can say the biomarkers, were tested. Mus musculus, ratus novergicus, gallus domesticus, these are the prominent four currently the species dominated by homeopathic drugs, wherein you will get the data curated and you will get the understanding about its plausibility biological actions. Okay, now, what happens when you file a drug for the invention? What all objections do you get? So, the objections are basically defined by Indian Patent Act. Okay, so as we have gone through this act in a superficial, you may say, in very specific mode of understanding, the act is then compared and of the acts again. Okay, so and with practical remedies. So none of the claims should be magically or advertised for the profit or benefit within with changing the ethics of the advertisement for the manipulation, or you may say for the forgery of the documents for the homeopathic products. So claims do not sufficiently define the invention. Definitely the patent attorney will give you this remarkable statements. Then claims which are not sufficiently defined, absence with the exit marks, scope of such clause, section 3. Okay, then abstract which is getting collapsed, overlapped, or you may say instructions contained in the rule 1370 of the patent rules 2000 amendment in 2006. So these are necessary informations. Even 6 months prior, if there is any data of the particular patent similar with the invention, that also can be questioned up. Then the patent rule 2003 initially with the WIPO and its data, that also needs to be re-verified. Another, we have distinct claims from fall of the homeopathic medicines, okay, which are not being able to trace within the drug proving, or you may say within the empirical sources. So those sections are also considered. So in section 3 patent act 1970 with the claim, it also comes under the scope. Form 3, form 5 petitions rule within 130 also come under the scope. Okay, so these are the areas basically you all need to understand if you further want to go for the invention of any products, or you want to go for any copyrights, or means basically for the ideation getting converted into product, you have to go forward for this particular remarks. So why I'm trying to provide you this data, because many of the homeopathic researchers have claim for the product what they have invented, but the Indian Patent Authority has not given them the grant. And why it has not given them the grant? Because of the section 3 of the section 2 clause of the act, wherein it doesn't justify it. Now, drug development pipeline within the institution role. So we all know that in homeopathy we go for a drug proving the healthy individuals. Then in the initial times it was completely rudimentary, but now we are having HPT, homeopathic pathogenesis trial in India. CCRH is currently working on it with the guidelines of the ECH and within the guidelines of the LMHI. Even this particular protocol has been regulated. However, if we will try to understand perspective from the patent attorney side, okay, so medicinal source identification is given the first priority for the defining the drug, okay. And as I have informed you in my previous slides that as per Drug and Cosmetic Act 1940, the homeopathic drugs which are already present in the monographs of the pharmacopoeia, this cannot be invented, okay. So this brings a question, what can be invented? And that's what further I am going to explain you. Authentication of raw materials, again this comes under the part. So let's assume you're going to work on Allium sativum, a product. Allium sativum can be grown in Maharashtra, can be grown in Karnataka, can be grown in Himachal Pradesh. But the quantity of alanine compound in the Allium sativum will always be questioned within these three geographical areas. And alanine compound is basically used as a anti-hyperlipidemia agent. Okay, so it basically controls the lipids in the patients. However, you can go ahead if you have a different species providing a similar component and which can provide the justification of its clinical benefits. Standardization and monograph development, preparation and potentization. As currently I have shown you the examples of the potentization machine technique, the innovation what the CCRH and IIT Bombay people have done. Preclinical experimental studies, what currently the homeopathy is trying to prove with the plausible actions. Homeopathic drug proving, clinical verification, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4 clinical trials, research, quality testing, manufacturing license, commercial manufacturing, marketing approval and distributions, pharmacovigilance and post-marketing surveillance. So not only CCRH, university experts, PCI MSNH members, GMP manufacturers, and AYUSH currently all are trying very hard to come ahead and to provide the evidences, the correct evidences, not the fabricated, not the over manipulated, or not the forged data within the trials. Now, this is another website. So tomorrow, if you feel that you have to go forward for filing any of the products in the homeopathy, okay. So form number 1 is basically the application for the grant of patent. You can go on this website, Office of the Control General of Patents, Design and Trademarks, Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, which comes under ministry, okay. And in this, you may go for these services and you can go forward for the filing of the online. You will get different forms. So first you have to go for the login section and then you will be able to use these forms. Form number 2 will provide you provisions, complete specification. They might ask you the details, POC, proof of concept, prototype, or what exactly are you trying to comment or you trying to claim about this thing. Form 3 will be the state undertaking of the product. So you have to declare that whether this product has not been used anywhere, and if it has been used, then you have to provide the evidences for what you have used it. And priorly, it has not been published. Okay, you have to give all the data what you have done with this prior art of work. Okay, so ROL, review of literature and everything. Form number 5, declaration as to inventorship has to be declared that who all credible authors or inventors you have to provide. Okay, name it. And form 26, power of attorney, how it exercises within the patent. Now we are going to understand the hypothetical real world style product. So how basically the trademarks, patents, copyrights, and design this particular uh, prevention, or you may say the inventions, act in homeopathy. So Patent Act 1970. If you want to prepare new product, so let's assume we are preparing Homo Bio. This is the name of the product. A scientifically developed homeopathic oral formulation supplied in a distinctive bottle with proprietary manufacturing potentization process, brand name, logo, packing, artwork, and patient information leaflet. Okay, so patent will have 20 years of protection in India. Okay, and it comes under the Patent Cooperative Treaty. So if you are trying to publish in India, it will automatically be secured within the PCT territory of the countries which are involved in the PCT. Okay, so you don't have to differently go and you have to file the patent. But if the claims are, if the similar patents have already been filed with the other countries' researchers, in that condition, WIPO will definitely and PCT will definitely look forward for the claims which have been mentioned as per the sections of the Act. Okay. Then copyright. So originally literature and artistic expressions can be copyrighted for 60 years. Patent for 20 years, copyright for 60 years. Okay. Trademark, the brand identity, okay, which comes under the Act 1999, 10 years, and it is again renewable in the period. And industrial design, Design Act 2000, 10 years plus 5 years extension you might get into it. So what is trademark? Name, logo, slogan. These all can be a trademark, protects brand identity. What do you mean by registered design? Appearance, shape, pattern, colors. Protects how a product looks. What do you mean by patent? New invention, functional idea, process, protects how something works. What do you mean by copyright? Creative works, text, music, art, software, protects original expressions. So identity looks, then you may say functions and creative expressions. These basically are a particular concept of inventions. Okay. So we were assuming about the homeobiotics product. So let us understand what all things will come under which particular invention or prevention acts. Okay. New technical manufacturing process will go into patent act. Novel technical composition product will go into patent if patentable requirements are met. Product name homeobiotics trademark. So homeobiotics will go under trademarks. Logo trademark plus potential copyright. Bottle shape, industrial design. Label artwork, copyright plus possibly trademark for certain elements. Brochures, copyright. Website content, copyrights. Promotional videos, copyright. Mobile application software, copyright, subject to applicable exclusion, as I have mentioned in point 3 of clause of Patent Act K, which says computer program per se. So I'm going to explain you this in further slides. Research data, know-how, potential confidential information, trade secrets, clinical treatment methods. Again, in section 3, it will depend. And traditional knowledge known. So generally, this cannot be patented. Okay, it is monopolized already. Now, this is an example that we have prepared this homeobiotics. So look at the design, look at the bottle content, look at the cap, look at the color combinations, look at the trademark, the logo, what we have said, natural, safe, effective, getting it. So we have to commend this. So patient will have manufacturing production process as explained previously. And for 20 years, for copyright, you will have label art, logo art, product brochure, user manual, website content, promotional video, scientific illustration programs. Okay. Then for trademark, you will have the product's brand identity. Okay. Then logo, tagline, distinctive packaging elements. For design, you will have visual appearance. So unique bottle shape, unique cap design, distinctive label layout, unique outer carton design also. So now let us understand what are the examples of distinction. What are the weak problematic concepts which can occur during the design or during the thinking of the patents, okay? And what can be the potentially stronger patent concept? So belladonna for fever, this seems to be very similar, or you may say weak concept. However, novel technique formulation process is genuinely novel. Atropine belladonna within the different sources and their preparation method, this might definitely make homeopathy different substance. Okay, provided that it follows the pharmacopoeia guidelines. Okay, and it should have the baseline of the vehicles also. Okay, then a homeopathic treatment method for migraine, novel manufacturing technology. So these also can be done. New use of non-homeopathic medicines. So let us assume that chelidonium majus, homeopathic medicine, which has the action on liver enzymes, on hepatocytes. And if we observe that in hepatocytes, basically the liver, its functions are glycogenesis, glyconeogenesis, glycolysis, as per the carbohydrate metabolism. Then in fats, you have beta oxidation, lipogenesis, ketogenesis, and cholesterol and bile. And in protein, amino acids, you are having the transmission urea cycles. So these actions might become more prominent and may have an addition action of cholesterol control. So which has not been documented in the William Boric or in the Allen Skinner or in any of the previous long clinical experiments or massive clinical trials. So this might be the probability of you going forward for this homeopathic medicines and exploring within the patients. New potentization method, as explained earlier, known remedy plus known preparation methods, novel automated manufacturing apparatus, and novel delivery device containing homeopathic preparations. So these are the probable this. Now let us go for the asset examples, what I have previously been explained. Homeobiotics, trademarks, Biox logo, again go with trademarks. Company product tagline, potential trademarks. Distinctive packaging element, potentially trademark depending on distinctiveness and legal requirements. Product artwork, copyright. Bottle appearance, design, manufacturing technology, patent. So Successful product will have the multiple overlapping of the IPR rights also. Okay. Now, India is Patent Cooperation Treaty member. So, PCT basically will help you, as I told you previously, in having the national phases in selected countries. Trademark will have the Madrid Protocol and it will help you for the registration of a design in targeted countries again only. Then copyrights, Berne Conventions framework, it basically follows. And copyright protection operates international through treaty principles subject to national law again. Design, you have the Hagen system where available and wherein the designs have been scrutinized. National and regional filings. So that again depends. Protection period, as I have already mentioned you again, I'm trying to give you again in a gist. Patent for 20 years, copyright generally 60 years, okay. Trademark 10 years, design 10 plus 5 years. And proposed homeopathic innovations. So patent possibly involved with the formulations, novel manufacturing potential again possibly. However, you cannot go for the copyright, trademark or design. But treatment method using homeopathic medicine, this might be a generally probabilistic under section 3J. It cannot be copyrighted, cannot be trademarked, cannot be designed. Okay, patent might be little bit of, you may say, questionable, as I have shown you in the previous claim slides. Okay. The new product name, it doesn't come on the patent. However, it has a copyright limited accessibility, but trademark, yes, definitely. Product brochure, copyright. It will not come under trademark, not under design, not under patent. Website content, no patent. You may have a copyright. Okay. You may have a trademark also somewhere, or but design, no. Unique bottle appearance, no patent. Possibly artwork might be copyrighted. Possibly trademark copyrighted, but design, definitely, yes. Novel bottle mechanisms possibly be patented, copyright not possible, trade right not possible, design possibly but not design, cannot be substituted for the technical patent protection. Promotional video, patent cannot be defined, copyright somehow can be defined, okay. Trade brand elements may be protected, okay. Design not possible. Non-homeopathic remedies, again generally you again have to go for the IPR Act. Then traditional non-medicine, again you have to go for the section 3P issues, okay. Rest all cannot be copyrighted, trademark or design. Now, what can be the legal requirements for the grant? So first you need to have the prior art of patent search. So as I told you that in past data will basically give you in detail analysis of this particular products, whether anyone has filed the patent on it or whether anyone has already been commented on these research studies. Laboratory and analytical methods will provide you the elements and which can be easy for you for patents. Experimental data, if you are having, you can go ahead within the patent. Animal studies usually are not required. Phase 1 studies, phase 2, phase 3. I'm going to give you example of nosode preparation. So in the study of nosodes, okay, which has been patented by the team of Life Force Homeopathy, you will understand that they have worked on minimum 10 to 12 patients, okay, but yet they have got the patent. How? Because they have shown the confirmatory results. So not only clinical trials, they have shown the animal results, the cell line results, and then the authority has given them the protection criteria. Then the number of patients is not always the category or a criteria for applying for the patent. Okay, understand? Not always. RCT is also not always required. Okay. Now let us go with the upcoming market revolutionized concept of artificial intelligence and the homeopathic software. So to understand, because today we are having Chat GPT, we are having Claude, we are having Google Gemini, DeepSeeker, we are having emergent Perplexity, a number of AI tools which can generate your AI application app. You can monetize it, you can work into it, you can explore it without the use of any particular software team. But you know what? The problem comes when you are under the computer related inventions. So for this, you have to go forward for CRIs, guidelines for examination of computer related inventions by Office of the Controller General of Patents, Design and Trademarks, 19 February 2016 and 2024 new amendments. You have to read these guidelines, wherein section 3K, as I've mentioned you previously, excludes a mathematical or business method, computer programming per se or algorithm. But that does not mean every invention involving software is unpatentable. The current CRI guidelines recognize that computer-related inventions can involve computers, networks, or programmable apparatus and focus on whether the invention provides a patent eligible technical solutions or not for presenting the software codes. So what you have developed, that brings a most important question. Okay, so you think that tomorrow you will go GPT, you will give a prompt, and you will develop homeopathic applications code. You might go into Cloud and you might convert this code into a software working within the APK format. Again, you will go into ChatGPT and you will enroll this APK format for monetization. So now everyone can access your software. But understand, is it possible to go for a patent or a copyright? Let us understand this. Ordinary mobile app oblique code usually is not patentable. Copyright, yes, it can be done. Source code, not nearly as a code, can be patented. Copyright, yes, it can be done. AI algorithm itself, impossible, because you have used ChatGPT as a prompt and you have used Cloude as a APK format. This changes, and again now you're using it into the ChatGPT. So you have not used your own particular ideology to work into it. However, you are given a prompt for this, but the mathematical model excludes under section 3. You're getting it. That is why it has not been patentable. Many of the AI homeopathic apps today, when I see on Play Store, on iStore also, iPhone, okay, iOS, and again in Chat GPT search, or you may say the Google Gemini search, Deep Seeker search, okay, they have not been copyrighted correctly, or every app have used the PDF text references and the model is trained, and now when you will type a medicine, this name of the complaint, you will immediately get the medicine. So I don't think so there is new invention happening currently in the AI sphere of the homeopathy. And if it's happening, another thing comes up, it's about the precision and its accuracy. How much accurate can be the data be used for this in your clinical trial, in your clinical practice, and whether you will get the desired result or not. Then mathematical model, you may say methods, cannot be patented, cannot be copyrighted, cannot be trademarked. Business method implemented in software, not at all patented. Copyright codes may be protected, okay, but it shouldn't be designed from the AI application. Okay, trademark not possible. Novel technical AI system, patent potential, copyright yes, trademark not possible. AI plus novel hardware technical architecture, potentially patented, okay, but section 3K, again, I'm trying to give you computer program per se. These might be a potential conflict when you're going forward for it. Copyright, yes, you can go for it. App name, this cannot be patented, this cannot be copyrighted, this can be trademarked. You want to name your own app, that can be trademarked, no issues. App logo can be trademarked, potentially can be copyrighted, patents can't be guaranteed. Then unique UI, or you may say visual appearance, VFX graphics, usually not as a software itself, but copyrights potentially can be done, and trademark potentially has the scope of it. Novel technical methods implemented using software potentially can be patented, that yes, trademark can be commented. So now again we are going with the hypothetical example, as we have done with the previous example of Homeo Bio X. Now we are going for Homo AI X. Okay, so in this, as I explained to you, section 3 becomes one of the essential part. So mobile interface appearance, the website appearance, and the design. These might be copyrighted. Okay, source code, app design, training data documentation, user manuals and help guides, brochures, presentations, educational content, website content and blogs and promotional videos. For design, you may go forward for the smart dispensers. Okay, currently many of them are going forward for it. Then the logo Homeo AIX, this can be trademarked, okay, and patent but obvious, you may go forward for the unique data processing architectures for it. But again, I'm trying to convey you all, section 3 should be screened thoroughly before going forward for it. So before ending this webinar, what are the keynotes that you all need to identify or you all need to understand? Patent, what is technically new? So patent basically will provide you what is technically new in the community or incomplete in the market, and that can be move forward. Trademark, what the customer recognizes, that comes under the trademark. Copyright, what you creatively express, that comes under the copyright. Design, what the product visually looks like. And strategically, do not try to patent the homeopathy itself, patent the genuine technical innovation. trademark the commercial identity, copyright the original creative material, and register distinctive product appearance as a design. So, for concluding, I would like to convey you all the most important factor of moving forward with this domain of your area in which you want to go ahead. So thank you so much. If you have questions, we can go ahead.
Yes, sure. We have a few questions. The first one is, what are the benefits of patent? Yes, Dr. Aditya.
Yeah, my voice is audible, ma'am.
Yes, your voice is audible. The question is, what are the benefits of patent?
Okay. So, what are the benefits of the patent? See, patent will basically help you in giving a complete access of your invention and a complete control upon your idea. Copyright will basically help you in idea preparation and in their process of control. But excising or implementing or its action, patent will have a maximum control. And you can decide in which particular domain you can control the access. Okay. So whether you want to go for a process patent or whether you want to go for a product patent, okay, or whether you want to define any particular mechanism which has not been defined, that also might be a possibility for going ahead for the patent. So patent will give you the access. Like in India, if you have developed a product and the similar product is not developed anywhere in the abroad, you will have, under the PCT guidelines, you will have the territorial access and you can launch the product over there. Okay. So one of the important factor is that about re-challenging the drugs. What we have studied from William Borick, from Alan Skeenot about their clinical aspects, that can be re-challenged and that can be retested within the source material. Okay, whether those materials were correctly been prepared in the homeopathic manufacturing unit or not, even though in spite the monographs have been drafted or the companies have been using those catalog for their production, but if you find out the efficacy in your clinical practice, you might go forward for the product redevelopment or re-challenging, and definitely the government will help into it. CCRH is the wing. You may go for the further approach. These are the methods you can go ahead.
So the next question is, do we have to apply separately for trademark, patent, copyrights, or does it include in one application?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. We have to go for a separate. Okay, it's a separate identity,
Separate
and we have to
identity.
go completely. We have to define what all, yeah, what all we are trying to give, provide the claims. Okay, or what are we are trying to go forward? POC, proof of concept. So for what they basically provide the statement and disclose, or you may say declaration. So that we have to write it. After writing, we have to sign it. We have to declare it, and then we have to forward it within the applications. Okay. So the website
Okay.
will have those forms, and then you can execute into it.